In 2019, a video of Cardi B resurfaced in which she admitted to drugging and robbing men during her time as a stripper. This revelation led to significant controversy from a lot of people, but a lot of men in particular were offended by this video because just a few years before that video surfaced, the Me Too movement gained global attention. In fact, in 2018, the hashtag was used 19 million times, with 65% of adult social media users in the US reporting that they witnessed an increase in content related to essay and harassment. Now, fast forward a year later, and the controversial video of Cardi B admitting to some horrible crimes against men went viral.
In studio time, because you gotta pay good engineers, you gotta go to a good studio, and you gotta put in that bread. I did it with my money. So for to say that I don't deserve it because I don't put in no work, now that's when I feel like, because I did it myself. The shit that I did to survive, like I had to go straight. I had to go. Oh yeah, you want? Yeah, let's go to this hotel. And I drop up and I rob them. That's what I used to do. Nothing was happening to me, nothing. So for say that I don't deserve shit, that's when I know that they about it. Because they do not the shit that I had to do. So to take me out because nobody wanted to help me. Nobody.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
In that video, Cardi was making it very clear that she wasn't ever given a handout. That was the whole point. She was trying to show how hard she worked to get to where she's at, the boundaries that she was willing to cross so that she could pay for studio time, amongst other things, I assume, so that she could pursue her music career. Some people may be wondering, why do this? Why get online and share some horrific stories? Why even allude to you doing some very, very dark things? Well, this isn't the first time a musician has faced backlash for admitting something that's just plain disturbing. Another well-known situation featured Rick Ross. Rick Ross faced significant backlash in 2013 due to lyrics in the song UOENO by Rocco in which he was featured. The controversial lyrics were, "Put Molly all in her champagne, she ain't even know it." And just to make things worse came the next line that read, "I took her home and enjoyed that, she ain't even know it." Most people interpreted those lyrics as him condoning you know what, as they suggested spiking a woman's drink and then taking advantage of her without her consent. Obviously, this was a big problem. As a consequence, Rick Ross faced significant public outrage, suffered significant financial loss, lost endorsement deals after sustained pressure from activists and a boycott, and Reebok decided to drop Rick Ross as their official spokesperson, citing the offensive nature of the lyrics. And let's be honest, man, the consequences were very warranted because those lyrics were just plain disgusting, and no one should be singing about, rapping about, or actively out here spiking anyone's drink. Rick Ross was definitely tripping with those bars. But what if I told you that instead of apologizing and drinking coffee and realizing, you know what, it's time to take accountability, instead he decided to double down and said, I don't feel bad for those lyrics. In fact, what I said I did in those lyrics, I actually did and would still do again if I wanted to. I'm sure that response would probably end his career. You can't convince me otherwise. I may be sitting there thinking, Shisha, why would he say that? That's crazy. Well, that's allegedly how Cardi B recently responded in a leaked recording about her addressing what she did to men in the past. And of course, I'm talking about Cardi B admitting to robbing and drugging men.
Why do y'all keep writing Cardi, whatever, rob man, whatever? What? I'll do it again. I don't feel bad. Y'all know how I don't feel bad for no. Feel bad for no. I'll do it again. And y'all think y'all gagging. I talk about my album too. I don't give a do it again.
And just in case you didn't believe me, there you go. And this video is making its rounds through social media, but it's not getting the attention that I know it would get if any other male singer, rapper, artist who's been accused of similar things, if they boldly stated, yeah, I did that shit and I would do it again, it would be all over the news, right? It wouldn't just be on a platform where we know we're going to get straight coffee and truth on a consistent basis. You're welcome. And to be honest, I'm not that surprised. She even said, I doubled down in my album. She just released some music or something like that. She's trying to get publicity, and she knows I can probably get away with saying this. I'm a woman. That would be the end. If any man got out here again and did this, that wouldn't propel album sales. That would ruin them, because we know when men make those type of mistakes, they get held accountable. And when women do, there never is the same energy. There is a bias when it comes to how society deals with these type of situations. And for some people who may doubt that bias, check out this TikToker giving her take on Cardi B drugging and robbing men.
A couple of years ago when Cardi B told that story about when she was I don't know what I can say on here, but when she was in a different line of work than she is now.
Right, remember?
And she drugged and robbed some men. And they wanted us to care about that so badly. They wanted us to really, really care about that and hate her for it. And if you have other criticisms of her, that's fair. But with that, I'm sorry, they could never, ever, ever get me to hate her, because for one, I think if you're enough of a loser that you need to pay for a woman's consent to have sex with her, then you kind of deserve whatever's coming to you.
Think of what this chick just said right there and how dangerous it would sound if it came from a man. If a man said, if you're going to dress a certain way, then you deserve, you know what? Everybody would be in an uproar. Just men saying, hey, I think women should, be mindful of how they dress, especially in certain environments, nighttime, out, are you saying that because she dressed like that, she deserved it? No, no one deserves any type of harm to come to them based on how they dress. And I think most men who have common sense would not say that. But this chick right here is definitely saying if a sex worker decides to rob and drug a man and he decides to pay for that service, then if she instead robs him, drugs him, and does whatever God knows what to that man, then he deserves that. Does any man or woman deserve that? And I don't support men going and paying for cheeks. I don't encourage that. But this is the blatant misandry that's allowed and never addressed. God forbid there's a channel for men that calls this shit out, because most people won't.
Or two, if you're okay with sleeping with someone that's only sleeping with you out of survival or because they need money or they want to advance their career or whatever, and anything other than like enthusiastic, genuine consent because they just want to sleep with you, then you deserve whatever comes to you. I don't care. I don't care. They didn't care about her or the fact that they were purchasing consent. So that's just, it is what it is.
But isn't consent a good thing? I thought consent was a good thing. Here's another crazy take from another woman.
How do you feel about Cardi B?
What about her?
About Cardi B admitting that she
Good for her.
used to that she used to drug and
Good for her.
Good for her?
Good for her.
Good for her, Ephraim.
Who gives a They got robbed. They can get that shit back. They had all the money to buy the shit. They can buy it again. We're not even going to start comparing getting drugged and robbed for some watches or some money to getting sexually I'm never going to be like, oh, we should be talking about Cardi B when it talks about like all this assault going on. She didn't sexually them. People like Trey Songz should be locked up, and Cardi B, good for her. She got some money when she needed it.
People like Trey Songz should be locked up. Cardi B, good for her. She got some money when she needed it. This is insane, man. This is what's going on out here. And she also says she didn't essay them. How do you know what happened? How do you know the details to that situation? If she's trying to lure people in for sex, how do you know that it didn't start to climax and then they weren't unconscious? And in the state of them being unconscious, can they give consent? Is that too low for someone like Cardi B to do? Well, here's Cardi B explaining how she's gotten revenge on exes who have cheated on her in the past.
Cheat on me, I'll be like, alright, I'm gonna take him out, we're gonna get drunk, I'm gonna get him all perked up and everything, we're gonna have a good time, get him super twisted, then bring a around, we're gonna have a threesome, and when he wake up, he gonna be like, what? Yeah, because the was a tranny. I'm be like, yup, we had a threesome with a tranny, yup, a tranny suck your gotta to get even. There's other ways to get even.
Correct me in the comments down below if I sound crazy, but if someone's willing to set up an ex who cheated on him to sleep with a tranny as revenge, then I think you're capable of a lot of other shit. Word is that what inspired Cardi B to actually go on this rant of her admitting that she would do what she did again was because people kept bringing it up during an online stream. And she thought by doubling down, she would actually get people to stop talking about it when the opposite happened. Here are a few comments from people online reacting to her doubling down. This commenter said, "A man would lose everything if he said that." Somebody else here added, "Double standards in America are insanely on a whole other level." Another comment here read, "If a man did what she did, he would be in prison for real." And the final comment here says, "The way she's treating men in the past, drugging and robbing them, is reflected in the way that she's being treated by Offset." In conclusion, and the purpose of this video is not so much for people to go after any one of these people. That's not the purpose of a lot of the videos that I create. I create these videos as awareness to men out here, to remind them to take a shot of espresso and realize that you aren't held to the same standards that women are held to. The reason you need to realize this is because they will lie to you and try to convince you that the world is fair and is equal, that you have the same expectations, burden of performance when it comes to relationships. Sadly, it's not true. They will treat them, and I'm talking about modern women today who do crazy stuff like this, whether they're a celebrity or not, like they're children, and will just brush it off as, "Oh man, she's just talking crazy." When it's a man like we saw in Rick Ross's situation, endorsements are getting pulled, you're losing revenue, people aren't showing up to your shows, you have to realize that the playing ground is not equal. Don't believe them. You are not judged equally, and you have to navigate this life with that understanding. Patricia, things need to change and it's not fair. Hey, I'm not saying they don't need to change. Maybe in this area, there's some things that will never change, right? Men will always be physically stronger than women. Maybe this will change. Maybe someone will look at this and say, you know what? She shouldn't be out here saying she's going to double down on that. I'm saying until that happens, maybe some executive will say, you know what? This is too far. But our main point here is be careful as a man in general. The lack of understanding this has resulted in the downfall of many men. You have guys who will mess with chicks and will be drinking and will assume that everything's good. And hey, she was drunk too. You have to be careful. That's all. I just want to encourage you to be careful. Too many men allow themselves to put themselves in certain situations due to their lack of sexual discipline that end up affecting them very negatively in the long run. This could be a false allegation where somebody claims they didn't give consent. There's a post I remember seeing. I think you guys remember me actually talking about this earlier this year. It was a post that was like a reminder to men. They had it in the military or something like that. This poster, and it said, if a man's drinking and he's drunk, a woman's drinking, she's drunk, and they're both drunk and they decide to sleep with each other, he has given consent, but she can never give consent as a woman who is drunk. All I'm saying is be careful. You don't want to get the wrong woman pregnant. You don't want to end up in some Jonathan Majors situation. I just saw another video of some guy who went to a hotel to meet some chick and he got robbed because she set him up. All types of stuff, man. Just be careful out here. As always, I'm curious to know, what do you think of the situation with Cardi B? Comment down below. I appreciate you as always for checking out yet another episode of The Coffee Pod. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.